Hey everybody, what's going on? We are really excited to be checking in with you today. In October, we are going to be going on a trip down to Guatemala with our friends from World Tread, October 21st to the 29th. It is going to be an epic 9-day adventure. We are here with Nate and Norm, who are two of the founders of World Tread, and we thought rather than just telling you about the trip, we would let you hear it from the horse's mouth, from guys who've been on the ground and have planned and ridden all the trails, stayed in all the hotels, and eaten at all the delicious restaurants that we're going to be staying at on this trip. So let's learn more about the Loam Wolf trip to Guatemala. All right, so as we said, this is going to be a 9-day trip flying into Guatemala City, right? And then from there, we're going to be seeing and exploring some amazing trails, seeing volcanoes erupt, eating some amazing meals. Nate and Norm, tell us a little bit about the company, how many times you've been there, and what made you start this business to take other people down there to ride.
Well, we started out as a group of friends that traveled cycling, and it took us 4 or 5 times to really nail down the process.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Guatemala on one of our trips and just fell in love with the area, and it just kind of grew from there. We thought that there was a need for a lot of the hurdles that people face traveling outside of the country, and we've addressed those and combined that with working closely with locals to providing that experience that you don't have to go to a place 2 or 3 or 4 times to really get the best stuff that it has to offer. You really get that on the first trip. And we do it at an economical price. We want to make international bike traveling, adventure traveling available to everybody.
Awesome. So the first time you told me about this trip, kind of what you said was, man, you could leave your wallet in your luggage and not have to worry about paying for anything again if you don't want to, right? What is this trip going to entail?
So World Tread, what we want to do is make it so you have the best experience. We want you to leave your ball behind. We want you to show up. We want you not to be thinking about money or thinking about any of that stuff. We want you to get off the plane. We've got our guides that'll be there that are ready. They'll toss your stuff in. We've got all your transportation set up. We'll go to a restaurant. You walk in. You, again, don't need your wallet. You're going to have a great time while you're eating, or they're unloading your bags in the hotel we're going to go to. The real thing is it takes a long time and a lot of effort to figure out a banger trip, right?
Yeah.
We've done that. We've done all the hard work. We put everything together. We put the good people in. So all we want you to do is show up, have fun, ride amazing trails, eat amazing food, and stay in cool places. And go home with a big smile on your face at the end of it. That's the goal. And so that's hopefully what you can expect from it.
Awesome. Norm, can you tell us a little bit about some of the riding down there and what people can expect?
Yeah. Guatemala is one of the locations of a few that World Tread has, and I've kind of broken it down into 3 categories. So the riding, scenery, like the cinematic topography of the country, as well as like the food. And kind of in the cinematic category is also the culture. So Guatemala is just such a unique canopy and tapestry to ride a bike in. I mean, I thought we had mountains in Utah, at 11, 12,000 feet. Their volcanoes are 13, 14, 11,000 feet. And it's just, I remember we were riding down a trail and we're kind of in this jungle canopy, and we come out of the canopy and there's got to be a 1,500 foot, 2,000 foot gorge. And on the other side is all cultivated coffee plants, and it's all hand cultivated. They don't do any machinery.
Wow.
But it's just like everywhere you look is just awe-inspiring, The dirt is amazing. Yeah, just all
Black.
Yeah, it's all just it's like coffee grinds, spent coffee grinds.
Yeah.
And you can ride it wet. It gets a little blown out when it's dry, but we try to operate our tours in the sweet spot so you don't get any of that.
Mm-hmm.
but the riding is for all levels. Something that we do is we do a lot of pre-trip homework. So when you book a trip with us, so when your fans book a trip with you, they'll be in contact with us, and we do a medical evaluation, we do a bike evaluation. We really get a gauge of who's going on the trip, and then we consult with our guides and we say, this is the level of riding, and then they go back and they pick the trails that will best showcase their riding skills of the group.
Right.
And then 2 weeks before the trip, we get a WhatsApp group, and the guides share pictures and video of the trails that they'll be riding as they're going down. So it's all about managing expectations, information dissemination, but really just having a trip where you just literally put your helmet on and ride. Yeah. You don't worry about anything else. You don't have to worry about where you eat. You don't have to worry about, getting an Uber or a tuk-tuk or any of these things. You just jump in. The rig's got fresh treats, cold drinks.
Medics on the trip.
So we don't have an on-site medical, but we've got an online medical. Okay. So our guides during the trip, they've got a direct contact to a physician 24/7. Okay. So as the trip, we've tried to come up with every contingency. If someone goes down and injures their leg, we have a parallel trip for each location of the trip that person can now go ziplining or do a cultural experience on an ATV at no extra charge.
Right.
But it doesn't jam up the riding trip.
Right.
Yeah. That's used really heavily on couples trips where we have a husband and wife or two partners. One doesn't want to ride. One can ride all day long. The other one can run on the parallel trip.
Okay.
And it's really cool.
Right on.
So.
And then as far as the destinations, where are we actually going to be visiting and riding?
So the trip starts out in Guatemala City. We land there. After that, we'll go to Antigua. That'll be your first night in Antigua. Building bikes, chilling, eating. Then we go up and ride a bike park, and that's to help get your bike dialed in, get everything just how you want it for the rest of the trip. From then, we'll move on to Tecpan, which is really cool place. Totally raw, steep if you want them, flowy if you want them. Just any kind of riding style that you want is there. Super pretty, overlooking beautiful, lush plantations with volcanoes always erupting in the background too. And then from there, we'll spend a few days there. From there, it goes on to Lake Atilan, which is just an amazing location. It's one of the natural wonders of the world. It's this big caldera of a volcano that's filled in with water. We stay right on the lake's edge, and then all of our descents will be down into the lake. Some of the really cool stuff we do is one of them is an urban ride where it starts out at kind of the edge of the caldera. We ride down through the jungle and cool, like all kinds of crazy, and then we pop out into a little city, and you're riding down through this urban landscape. I don't even know, it's not a city, but it's just through these like little villages.
Yeah.
Little kids are hauling up their water and all kinds of stuff. It's just crazy, super fun. Nothing unlike anything you've ever seen in the US.
Very cool. And so what sort of skill set or travel range bike are people going to be having the most fun on?
I think a mid-travel 29er, something with 150 mils in the front, 130 plus in the back, that could handle pretty much anything. Okay. If you're a hard charger, there are some steeper trails that I take advantage of a long travel 29 bike.
Okay.
But it all depends on like the speed that you want to run.
Right.
A mid-travel 29er, it would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about skill level?
Again, I mean,
that's the beauty of it. Anybody can come. I mean, you know what I mean? If you want to come in and try ride heavy and hard, we've got that set up. If you want to come back and be the easy, flowy fun, got that set up too. It really depends on what you guys want and what the trip is and who's on it.
Yeah. So people don't need to be intimidated if they're like, man, I would love to go ride Guatemala, but I don't think I'm good enough.
No, and I'm solidly in the average category. You say that online.
Okay.
And I had a blast there. I loved it. I had a great time. I never felt like I was overbore or underbore. It was great. All right. It was a cool time.
And our guides are phenomenal at running a lead, middle, and cleaner.
Okay.
And they really manage expectations. They'll say, this is what's ahead. Let's roll up and look at this. Or it's kind of a progressive. So that first day at the bike park that we talked about,
It's kind of your filter day.
Yeah. And
gives the guides a chance to see you too.
Yes. And they're looking at you, determining what kind of skill set and stuff. And again, our number one goal is to have the best experience for the people going on this trip.
Right.
That's a big passion of ours. And the system we have set up to achieve that is multifaceted. You know, they get the pre-interview, they get there, they get kind of evaluated by the guides, and then the guides fit the tour to the group.
Right.
You know, there's a trail, Nate talks about that big caldera. You know, some of these trails are 1,000, 1,200 years old. They're the Mayan trails that they would come up and out of the lake from. And there's one called the Snail that is absolutely rowdy and steep, you know, easily double black.
Yeah.
But then you can opt out and do the Snake, which is just fully exposed, but super flowy and green trail. And you arrive at these little towns and it's like concrete urban enduro,
Right.
which is just so exhilarating. When we get onto the lake, all your transport's by boat.
Wow.
So there's no, it's like when you go to the hotel, I think we hit on, you know, we'll be staying at the lake for the 2 days. You only get to the hotel by boat.
That's
You get to the hotel and, you know, the duration of the trip is 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
We got a travel day on the front end, travel day on the back end, and then 7 days in country riding. You have 3 days on the front, and then we have a rest day, rehab day in the middle, and then you finish strong with 3 days. That rest rehab day is at the lake. Everyone gets a massage. You got the steam room. You've got this rad hot tub. It's this giant pool that they built a steel wooden stove in the middle of.
Wow.
And they stoke it with like a wooden fire, and that heats the hot tub up.
Wow.
But it's a day to relax and recover. Laundry services provided, so all your laundry is done, which helps you on the packing side of things. You don't have to bring tons of stuff, you know?
So this is definitely more of a catered to kind of a higher end sort of a trip, it seems like. I mean, it's...
But I think at a very fair price,
Okay.
you know?
Speaking of pricing, let's talk what's a trip cost.
So for the Loam Wolf trip, it's $39.99.
Okay.
And that will be all inclusive. That's transportation, food, logistics, your rest day, zip lining, all the activities we have. I mean, you literally do not pull your wallet out. That includes alcohol, sodas, the treats in the truck. One thing that we didn't want to do is just nickel and dime people of, yes, it costs this, but this is extra. And this is, you just pay it up front and you eat at the best restaurants. We stay at the nicest hotels. I think for the Loam Wolf trip, we're doing dual occupancy. We don't overcram rooms.
Okay. So 2 people per room.
2 people.
If people do want to upgrade and have a solo room, they can do that.
It's about $200 more to do a single occupancy.
Okay.
And that's an option that we do across the board.
Okay.
But you know, when you get a group of friends or you get a group of people or couples,
Right.
the dual occupancy, it's hit or miss on whether people want that or not.
Sure. Okay.
But we really do white glove, red carpet. You know, you get to the truck, they take your bike, they load your bike, they wipe your bike down, they clean it and wash it, and it's really just catered.
You just, like you said, put on the helmet,
Strap on the helmet,
That's
and
all you
ride.
gotta think about.
Yep.
Cool. And so $39.99, everything's included except airfare to and from.
Yep. And your travel insurance due to legal reasons. We can't arrange travel insurance for the travelers.
Okay.
But there's a broad spectrum. We give a lot of information on our like pre-trip.
Right. On where to source that out.
We can talk about what to choose from. Here are some options. But we want to make sure your bike's ready to ride. We want to make sure you're aware of the physical things that you should be prepared for, as well as, you know, our medical director, our physician. looks at the region and says, okay, these are some things that you need to look for. Don't drink the water, brush your teeth, all of the stuff that normally people would just have to like deep dive on the internet to find. We just provide all that for you.
Awesome. Well, we are very excited. Can't wait to go on the trip. I think we're going to officially announce 12 spots will be available for this trip. So if you guys want to come out, ride some amazing trails, see some amazing sights in Guatemala, and I think just have a generally amazing time. I've known Norm for quite a while, and I think like we were talking about before, it's as if, you know, you have a friend who lives in a place you've never been, and you just show up and your friend's like, we got the restaurants, we got the trails, we know what we're doing, just come with and let's go ride. That's kind of what you guys are doing, and Norm hasn't let me down on any of the trips that I've been with him, so I've got total faith. I've not yet been to Guatemala to go riding, so if you guys come with, it's going to be my first time. I think we'll all enjoy it and have some pretty wonderful experiences and memories to be made. So I appreciate you guys offering this to us and also to the viewers. So if you guys want to come ride in Guatemala and shred some trail, watch some volcanoes erupt, and have some good food, sign up. 12 spots available. We'll link all the information down below, and I really look forward to riding with some of you guys down there. So we'll see you this fall.